This is very easy. Gluten-free cakes are not difficult at all. It's super easy and you shouldn't be scared of doing anything wrong. Anyone can do this cake. So just a quick run through of what you need to do the cake. Apricots or any fruit of your likings. Today it's apricots. We have some nice peeled almonds that we're just gonna roughly chop up to give it a little bit of texture. I have a gluten-free flour mix that I've done myself. It's half and half corn flour and rice flour. Organic, very important. Some baking powder, a little bit of salt, a nice cold pressed olive oil, eggs, and xanthan gum. Xanthan gum is an enzyme that you add to the gluten-free flour mix to make it more flexible so it won't break and crumble like most gluten-free baking do. Best advice ever for doing anything in a kitchen: get your ingredients ready before you start and read the recipe through. You don't have to completely finely chop them. This is again to your liking, whatever you like, you do it. It's just easier to cut the cake if the almonds aren't whole. I think that's fine. I like chunky parts. Cool, so set that aside. Then it's the apricot time. Cut off anything that's bad. And with all fruits that has a stone inside, you can like twist them. This one's very ripe. You can open them and then you can basically just peel it out like that. Just cut them into chunks, 6, 9 pieces per half. You can cut them smaller if you like. I just like to keep them kind of large. You want to have a nice little bite of fresh apricot in your cake. All right, so first you want to combine the eggs. 4 eggs. Just give it a quick whisk. Like that. So 3/4 of a cup of olive oil. You just add that in. Just to give it a little bit of like moist and fattiness to it. Make sure it's like a thick mass like this, emulsified. Then we want to add 2 cups of flour. Then I have my half cup measure because I just oiled the other one up. So let's do half. So we want to do 1/4 cup of caster sugar. I use caster sugar. You can use plain sugar if you want. That's 1, and then a half. That's about it. 1 1/4. Then you want to add a little bit of baking powder, a teaspoon of baking powder, which is equivalent of this, so that you have it nice and fluffy. And then the xanthan gum, which works as a little like a glue, you want to do like a teaspoon of that as well, like that. And then you just mix it. Super easy. And then you got a pretty firm batter here, and that's perfectly fine because your fruit will throw some liquid when it gets warm. Then you want to add the seasoning. A little bit of cinnamon. You can use dried ginger, nutmeg, whatever you like for spices. Like a teaspoon and a half of that. And then out of all your fruit that you've cut, you want to just put this in. You want to use half of it for mixing into the batter. Hard to stir fruit with a whisk. You want to change that out for a rubber spatula. So just fold it in. Looks very dense, but that's fine. Need to add a little bit of salt. Half a teaspoon of salt. I like to add a little bit of salt to all the sweet things I do. It's a flavor enhancer. So just to check up that I didn't forget anything, except for the vanilla pot, you just split it in half. Open it up like this, and then you take the back side of your knife, kind of open it, and you just scrape it like that. You can use vanilla extract if you have that. And then again, save the pods because they have lots of flavor. Put them in your sugar things, and then you can use them for jams or poaching, whatever, at a later time. And then we just mix that vanilla in really well. So this is your basic cake. I'm a modern baker. I like to use silicone molds. So the reason why nothing ever sticks to it. It's brilliant. So yeah, 2 cake tins for 1 recipe. And you just don't have to eat all the cake at the same time. You can just cling film it and put it in the fridge. Just divide it into the 2 that. Or you can alternatively use a bigger square pan, round pan, whatever you have. Just make sure it's not too thin or else it'll go dry. Most people think that gluten-free baking is super dry and brittle and boring. We don't want to have that. Boom, like that, super easy. You divide into the pans on top, like this. This is basically it, and then right now, so this doesn't burn and become cooked apricots on top, you just want to kind of like mush it down a bit. So then you have your chopped almonds, and you just want to do the same with the apricots. Put them on top, like that, and then squeeze them down a little bit. So you want to get them kind of like into it, so it gives a nice crust to it. Boom. So. And it's gonna go up 170 degrees, 70 degrees for, start with 25 minutes, have a look at it, and then maybe give it 5 minutes more. Again, all ovens work differently, so it's important that you keep an eye on what you're doing so it doesn't burn. It keeps very nice and moist because of all the nice fruits. There's a lot of fruits in it.
How did you get into being a chef or a cycling team?
Totally by chance, actually. The right connections, being at the right